had with dinner.
It was almost dark as I began making my way back to my campsite, after an enjoyable afternoon of hiking. After traveling only a short distance, I was surprised to see a small child sitting in the middle of the trail. She appeared to be about 7 or 8 years old, and as I got closer, I could see that she'd been crying. I asked her if she was lost, and she nodded her head. Thinking that she might have been out here for a while, I asked if she was hungry, and she nodded her head again, so I gave her a granola bar and a bottle of water. She devoured the food as if she hadn't eaten in days and drank every drop of water. When I offered to help her find her parents, she reached out her hand to me and I took it, helping her to her feet. Since I had no idea where her parents' campsite was, and doubted if she did, I decided the best thing to do was to take her to the ranger station. As we walked along the trail, she kept looking nervously towards the woods, as if she was afraid of something. The closer we got to the ranger station, the more hesitant she was, until she eventually just stopped walking and refused to budge. I asked her what's wrong, but she still didn't speak, just shaking her head no and standing in place. After a moment, she looked up at me with the saddest expression I've ever seen, and unexpectedly hugged me tightly, then letting go and whispering,
"Don't follow me."
Before I could react, she ran off into the woods. In spite of what she said, there was no way I could let this child go off into the forest on her own, so I went after her. I soon found myself deep in a part of the woods I wasn't familiar with, but she seemed to know where she was going, so I kept following her. The further we went, the more sinister the woods appeared, but I was convinced that it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Eventually, the forest opened up into a clearing, and I briefly lost sight of the child. As I entered the clearing, I was met by the chilling sight of a group of strange people, or rather creatures, as they did not look human. They were pale and spindly, with long, narrow fingers that ended in vicious-looking claws. Upon seeing me, they smiled, revealing mouths full of shark-like teeth. After overcoming my initial terror, at least somewhat, I noticed the child standing at the back of the clearing. One of the creatures patted her on the head and said,
"Well done, child."
She then went back and sat on a dirty, tattered mattress. I knew I should run, but I couldn't bear the thought of leaving the child alone with them. The rational part of my mind told me that she's clearly been here a while, and that I should go get help and then come back to rescue her. I had just convinced myself to do so when I realized that I couldn't move. The creatures were all staring at me with their sickly yellow eyes, and my muscles were all locked in place. As they slowly moved towards me, I saw the girl silently mouth, "I'm sorry." Then there was only pain and darkness.